Back up! Hostile! Okay! Run! Got something! Can't hit you! Его завалил! Нет! Just surrender! Сдавайся! Run! Готов! All right!
Sorry about that. I had to go make sure that my girlfriend didn't just show me, or show the stream what she was showing me. Forgot that I had my camera on. Y'all almost just seen some crazy stuff
I see a hostile!
that would have gotten me banned. I will say that. It, like, for sure would have gotten me banned. Or, like, the video taken down at least. Like, something bad. Baby, we almost showed the stream that I checked. I forgot the camera was on. We almost, it just, you weren't in it, your hand in the phone, like the back of it. I don't give a fuck. I think I was muted, but the camera was like, I'm not muted right now.
Alright, first floor is clear.
Good work, we got it. What? No. Hold on! Not possible! Wait! Don't... Yalla, cover me! Affirmative! I'm changing my magazine! Got target!
Fucking knew it. I knew I shouldn't have went in there.
Negative!
My girlfriend has got my mind so distracted right now, bro. Like, I cannot focus on what I need to be doing. Distracted in a good way. Besides the fact that it got me killed. I might have been able to survive that if my teammate hadn't fucking shot me as well. Who knows? Okay, we got two guys left. And they almost just shot each other.
Heads up! Give up! Surrender now! Christ!
I remember Latak. There's a guy on our team
Get over there!
gamer
Yalla!
tag that says, "'Cause I'm Diamond 1."
Okay! I'm coming for you! Give up now! Drop your weapon! Fire!
Well, y'all are scared, huh?
There!
I should have died right there by all means, or by all rights.
Throwing
I
grenade!
should be dead as fuck.
What the heck did you give me?
What the fuck?
Explosive out!
I ran in that building with one magazine.
Youwho!
And just
Surrender now!
cleared that shit.
I'm reloading! Hold on! Reloading!
What the fuck? I just got took out by a grenade. Literally in my stream earlier, I was talking about this. Well, that's one of the few things that like desperately needs to be changed is the bot's ability to land grenades and grenades effectiveness in combat. I think needs to be changed as well. Explosions go crazy on here.
Dead! Yo! Enemy dead! Got somebody!
Is that the one that's new or the other one?
Hey!
You're just gonna have to start from the beginning of this time. Oh no.
How you like to talk, huh? I need help! Okay, that's it! Okay, loading! Loading! Fucking move, go! They're fighting shells at us! There we go! Alright, let's go!
Girlfriend was just trying to explain some not safe for work stuff.
I'm with you!
You know that bot.
Surrender now!
One of my guys probably just died unless he's seen him throw that. Or he wasn't there.
Hold on! Reloading! Just wait! Hang on! Grenade out! Drop your weapon!
Noggin knocker. I've been just taking heads with the MP5. That's crazy. You wonder why I am the sniper. I'm the designated sniper. Yeah, I just unlocked the last classes of which I will probably never use. But I unlocked them. So there's that. Alright, I like Last Light Insurgents. I like to switch it up. I like to go in there after. I like to go in these buildings after the soldiers. It's pretty fun. Come on. We done picked it, cuz. We done picked it. And I'm gonna be on my typical shit. Come up in here on some craziness too. Tell it. Up in here on some shit. I'm going to fuck these dudes up. I feel like this pistol is like the pistol of an assassin. I really don't like the grip. Like the little grooved part of the grip. Like it looks cool, but it doesn't feel good. I've held one of these pistols in my hand. I've actually shot them. Fuck. Just had like everybody leave the game. Why didn't they vote? They didn't want to play the map. All they had to do was just put their vote in. Everyone's leaving? Oh, they must have already... They already go die? Did I miss something? Did I load in late? Oh, because I was changing my class.
Come on! Come on! JJ!
That dude just killed me with the door. It never would happen that way, number one. I'm pretty sure I would.
Get ready!
But now I'm pissed. Not letting that go.
You're dead, you piece of shit!
going?
think they're more aware of sound now. That could be good.
Get on it! Zahar Menon! Use your smoke! Target spotted! You're surrounded, you know! Look out! I'm throwing a grenade! One second! No! We secured the A!
We ain't even gotta defend it either.
Oh, Jesus! Enemy west! Enemy west! No way! Hostile! We'll kill you! Bastard! I'm coming for you! Give up! Surrender now! By God, you're dead! Throwing grenade! Ah, crap! Surrounded, you know. Fuck you! Copy! I'll burn it, hang on! Come on, come on! Incendiary out!
God damn it, bro.
One of you!
I just happen to be. What? It didn't pull the cash up?
Bastard! I don't think so!
He should be good to go. If that would have been me, dude, he would have just goddamn aimbotted me in the face. about tired of these guys.
Get down on the ground now!
I'm in the military. My name's Booga Booga.
Just surrender! Давайте!
Oh my god. I like accidentally sprinted and it would not let me shoot. No. Oh boy. And there's no one playing the game. Alright, looks like it's just me, fellas. Just me and my bolt-action sniper rifle. See that? I earned the most kills, captured the most objectives, killed the most enemies defending the objective. I'm clearly... Unless it's just saying that. Maybe I'm not the best. All I know is... I'm not gonna stop until they're all fucking dead, or my soul is one of the two. I know there's usually one there. Oh my gosh. My baby gave me foods. You see the foods? It does look a little. I like my biscuits kind of crispy. I just seen one of their troops. She lightened my mood. I got happy because she brought me food. She my
Come
baby.
on! Come on!
Uh-oh. I think I just heard the military dudes screaming. They haven't opened the door.
We are on A! Knock, knock!
I'm gonna be so fucked up if I get to kill.
Push, push!
Dude, if I kill these
Heads up!
guys, could you imagine? Hang on, baby. Just let me aura farm for a minute, then I'll get to eating. Ah, shit.
Hey, we got contact!
Uh-oh.
Pizza! Yes! Uh-huh. Okay, we captured A.
What the fuck you talking about defense mission, buddy? Talking about some defense mission. Huh. You have me all fucked up. Talking about some defense mission. There's one guy here, me,
Hey!
in a bolt action and using ammo pistol.
Fuck! They're taking A!
They're gonna do that. I'm sorry, guys. There's probably
Hey,
like
we lost
so
A!
many
It's
of them
gone!
in there right now. Alright, well, since nobody wanted to help me, I'm gonna exit this and I'm gonna eat my food. And I guess I'm going to watch something while I eat so that the stream can survive. Finding something to watch is the problem, though. The fuck am I going to watch? I think Joe Bart has been working out, guys. Want to see what I'm saying? There you go. I did not watch those streamer games, and it looks like he has been taking the breakup kind of hard. I'm scrolling trying to find something to watch. I don't know if it's like a thing, like if I can watch Queso or not. Or if I can watch Joe. I'm gonna have to go watch like a fight or something. What's a good fight? What's a good fight? What's a good fight? Huh?
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it, just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44, a complete...
I'm so grateful that you're allowing me to just talk.
Come on, man.
And I love what you did with this thing. I was watching all the, because I'm fearful too. So I was watching all the interviews that you've done with Bo and Kevin, and man, there's just like you found a gap. Not a whole lot of places a guy like me can come and talk my truth, or Bo talk his truth and sit down with another cop. I think is phenomenal with you. I'm not just kissing your ass. I think this is really special. I like how small it is also. Anyway, what do you got to say? I know you do your little intros.
There ain't got to be anything like that. I think the first thing I want to say is from what you said as soon as you got out of that car.
Yeah.
Can you lead me in a prayer?
Yeah, all right, definitely.
About this conversation and what we're trying to achieve?
First off, I'm prepared to go every which way.
Let's go,
yeah,
man.
I think that it's my duty now. Like when I think about what my life has become and what it is now, like what my purpose is now, I need to be useful. And when I look at this Me Too environment, a saint for me, because had she not intervened in my life and not purpose in my life, my whole purpose, as you know, was just craft. It was just, I'm gonna be good at this thing, and that's all that I have. The only thing I care about in life is being a good actor. And that's such a vapid, shallow existence. And 3 emotions that I toggled between, which was I would feel anxiety, depression, and excitement. And I thought excitement was joy, and I thought lack of depression was serenity.
Peace, yep.
And I had no spiritual life. I had I was bankrupt spiritually. I thought my whole spirituality was this craft. Because other than smoking weed and drinking, the only spiritual experience I ever felt was on set. That's the only time my perspective would shift and change, and it's the only time I ever felt useful. And so I'm on a spiritual growth path. I'm on an excavation. I'm picking it up, cleaning it up, putting it back. I didn't just hurt that woman. The kind of shame my wife has to walk around with, the pain that came to the people I was working with creatively. Even I built this, like, me and Bo built like something really special downtown, and all them kids, I just failed a lot of people. And so when I say I'm gonna owe, it's not just her. I owe a lot of people. And so the reason I wanted to do this, and the reason why I felt like celestial mathematics when you hit me up, was it's not a lot of places I can go talk, period, And I guess old me would have looked at this like, oh, well, this is an opportunity for you to like speak your piece. But really the only thing I want to do is like give dudes who fuck up hope.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What can this achieve? Who can this touch? Victim, perpetrator, someone lost, someone who's trying to be found.
Yeah, all that.
Who on that path? Pain is an adhesive, bro. If you've been through it, you can connect to people, period, end of story. The first thing I just think, like, look, man, I haven't seen you in a long time, bro. And I want to talk about that.
Yeah.
The first thing I just need to ask you, man, is I need to ask you about your child.
Yeah.
I need to ask you about your baby, bro.
Yeah.
Yo, man, tell me about your baby.
I mean, she is the most dynamic spark of life and most...
Excuse me, sir. How old were you when you made your first million?
What is this for?
We're trying to get advice for the younger generation.
I made my first million last year, actually.
What line of work are you in?
I'm in sales.
Okay, what's the best advice you can give someone that's in sales?
Magical. It's a game changer, dog. Like you would always talk about your kid, and I was like, yeah, well, I've had a dog, as though them like as though these loves are like anywhere near what you experience when you have a kid. But this was all tied in too. Like it came at a time when, you know, me and my girl been in love for a long time, but I didn't really know it. You know, I didn't really know what love was till all this shit hit the fan, and she was still around. I thought she was in love with me because of what I could offer. I didn't know that when I had shit, jack all, fuck all, nothing to offer, she would still love me. So I didn't really know what love was, right? That's one. And out of this like newfound discovery of real love in my life, this kid, you know, and I'm not gonna pretend like I done figured it all out. It's such a mystery, you know.
What scares you?
What scares me is like, if nobody tells you about the first 3 weeks. You know, the first 3 weeks, man, I remember changing the diaper.
Yeah.
You know, I've been hanging out with monks for 9 months, and I came out of monastery, and I've been in rehab for 3 months, and I've been working, you know, been outside for a while, and so I thought I had like things dialed in, like I could press the pause button. But when you're changing a diaper, and you change it, and then you put it back on, she shits again, and then you change it again, and she shits again, and it's 3 in the morning, you ain't slept for 4 days, and you're on it's the third iteration of shit, and you're sitting there at the table, and you change it one more time, and you say to yourself, if you shit one more time, I'm gonna jump out the fucking window. Like, I'm done, right? And you're looking at your kid, and you're just thinking, how am I gonna get through this? And you put the fourth diaper on, and she doesn't shit. It feels like a miracle. It feels like God is hugging you. Like, I got you, bro. So I don't know if I'm infusing a bunch of stuff, but there's some kind of incredible genius in my child, but she's testing me, and she's forcing me to give up on me.
Yeah, that's right.
Which is what I need.
Way more important.
Yeah, I mean,
way bigger.
Obviously way more important, but it also feels like some kind of weird reset button.
For sure.
Like, I know that I'm never gonna be the dude I was in front of this woman, you know, and I know that I'm never gonna treat my wife the way that I treated her around this woman. It's almost like having the ultimate parole officer. Yeah. It's like the ultimate probation officer. I've never looked down on having a probation officer. I need somebody to keep me accountable. Because freedom without guidelines and limitations is fucking madness. You know, if I strip you naked and throw you in the ocean, you'll be free, but you won't enjoy it. You know, I need guidance, and my kid is serving as some kind of ultimate like
North Star?
Yeah, for sure, North Star, but more than that, first of all, my kid is so fucking joyful. Like, she's just always, I've been around doctors, and maybe all doctors say this, but like, I've been around doctors saying like, this is the most joyful kid I've ever been around. Right. You know, she's raised in complete love, and my wife is such a good mother. She's a part of a new purpose that I didn't have. You know, I was living for myself, and when you're holding a baby, like, baby don't care about none of your shit, you know.
Like, what do you think being a good dad is? What are you gonna bring to the table?
I'm honest.
Yep. I'm
loyal. I'm willing. I'm open.
Curious.
Super curious, and I'm learning how to be a man of principles.
Give voice to what you're scared of and what you're worried about being a dad, and what you think you need to focus on, and what you're worried about with your relationship with her for the future.
I'm not worried about much anymore. Like, I don't live in fear. I don't have a bunch of worry like that.
What do you need to work on?
Yeah, there's a lot I need to work on. First off, just in terms of having a daughter and knowing your daughter is one day gonna search your name in a search engine and see that, you know, you are a deplorable, disgusting piece of shit. And that shit hits, you know? And so I have from now until she's literate to create a relationship with her where she knows me more than this idea of who I am in the public, you know?
When that hits, like you said, because it's funny, man, I just went through something like that with my kids, because my kids can fucking read now, you know what I mean? And what's there, man? Do you see an opportunity in that?
Yeah.
What is it?
I picture for myself a Christmas with a bunch of people I done helped.
There you go.
That's what I envision for myself. It's not, you know, I used to judge my worth by the films and stuff, and like, I think about my Christmases during that whole path. It was just so fucking solitary and lonely. Or it'd be like this new girl and that. I mean, it was always like some, like, very intangible,
vapid,
no intrinsic value. Nobody that could like. I imagine that there's dudes I'm working with now that I got 597 days of this program I'm in, and I got monks at my house. You know, I look around sometimes at my house, even now, and I think, what? Yeah. Like, how? You know, how did this happen? Yeah. And I think it's the relationships. I think my daughter will be able to, when it does come time for her to be able to assess who her father is, she'll see a man who failed, was a sinner, was honest about it,
That's it.
Took accountability for it, and then made course corrections.
That's it. Changed,
and then gave his life to something bigger than himself and found solace in a program of principles, service, love. You know, that's where I'm aiming at. So I think it'll be a Christmas one day where she just wakes up and goes, damn, Dad's got a lot of friends. Who are these people? And my mommy will say, like, you know, Dad had a hand to play in like these people finding the same thing he found. That's what I'm hoping for, you know?
Not if, but when she falls, because everybody does, man.
Sure.
You're going to be able to talk about it with her, and you're going to be able to be there with her.
The reason I've always connected to you is because, you know, you have depth and weight, because you done fell on your fucking face, you know, Definitely. And then got back up and kept it moving. And, you know, this is people who haven't gone through that, they don't have depth and weight to the message that they have to share. They can tell you all about what to do and how you're supposed to do it, but very few people have the life experience. And this child is a big part of that. You know, there's a lot of miracles that have taken place in my life just in this short period of time that takes me out of this belief phase into like, oh, I can touch it.
Solid.
Yeah, this feels very real, you know. And I played with faith, you know. When we did Fury, I was toiling with faith, but it was all like the purpose was performative.
What was it's about intentionality.
Right.
Right? To be good in a movie.
Right.
Not to save yourself or save somebody else.
And when I'd fucked up in the past, it's like, you know, you get a call from Brad Pitt, what fuck up? You know? There wasn't no calls this time.
Yeah.
My mother didn't talk to me this time, you know? Nobody, all my friends became acquaintances.
The antithesis of being a friend is walking away. I am not going to walk away. Like, I am always going to love you. I am always going to support you. That being said, the things that, you know, this person said, like, I can't fuck with that. For sure. like what you said, you were right, man. Like, I fucking hurt people in my life, you know? Like, I know what that is. I know what it's like to be in that valley. I know what it's like to be left behind. I don't know what it's like, you know, to put my hands on a woman, or for a woman to say I put my hands on her. And that's something you know, like, but no matter what the case is, my job as your friend is to, in whatever way you allow me to, or you allow me to be a part of that process, is to make sure, one, you never do it again, make sure, two, that you're in a healthy process, and number three, that I'm a support system for why you're going through that.
I dare you to let me build you a completely free e-commerce store preloaded with 20 handpicked products that are trending all over the world, basically validated by AI from a trending product database from one.
So I guess my question with that is, man, is like, where, I mean, you answered it a little bit, but where are you, and what do you, for people who support you and love you, like, what do you want to say to them?
Yeah, I mean, I got amends to make. I got a long list of people that I need to make amends to. And so what I want to say to those people is I get it. You know, it doesn't seem, you know, when it first hit, it was like, you know, I wanted to air it out and talk about specifics. And, like, none of it really matters, you know. I hurt that woman, you know. And in the process of doing that, I hurt many other people. And many other people before that woman. You know, I was living my life... I was a pleasure-seeking, selfish, self-centered, dishonest, inconsiderate, fearful human being, and I was operating on a survival instinct. I wasn't operating as a friend. I didn't actually. All my loves and friendships were transactional. You know, I fucked with you because we worked together, and I experienced great pleasure in that working situation. You know, when I look back at the friendships, people who dipped or don't talk to me, these were also part of the same kind of transactional relationships. I didn't actually understand what love was. You know, I didn't know what friendship was. I'm not trying to do a pity party thing. I was raised very specifically in my father would tell me stuff like, you know, your life is your life, son. You know, if you want to have a good life, you got to work real hard. You got to get into a good school. You got to get a good job. That'll lead to a good relationship. You have a kid and you put that kid in a good school, and, you know, it's all up to you. And so that kind of, it forced me into a position in my life where I was God. I was the person who was making shit happen, and I was using people like I was in a laboratory measuring shit and quite controlling. I mean, you know how I am on set too. You know, the way I was operating on set was the actor is the poet. You know, like you're in a solitary, you're on your own journey. That's a bunch of nonsense, but this is what I was living in. It's the shit I came up with, you know. The actors that I looked up to, the art that I was inspired by, they moved like the actor is the poet. I was moving like in my life like I was that way.
Right.
That does something to the way you operate in the world. Yeah. Some people are attracted to it because that confidence is attractive, and it feels comforting to be around somebody who you think knows something. It's attractive. It calms my own insecurity to be around a person who is fully acquainted and acclimated to their craft or their mission in life. When somebody's really confident in something, it's nice to be around that energy because it feels like guidance. It feels like you can lean on it.
Yeah, they got to figure it out.
They got to figure it out, right? So I get why I empathize with why my way of doing shit was attractive then. And I remember who you were on that set. I remember how fearful, how deeply insecure, you know, and
For sure.
and the way that you were moving on that show specifically.
For sure.
And the yearnings for David to hit you with certain compliments and shit. Like, you know, you needed validation from him,
For sure.
from us, from Kevin, more so from Kevin, you know, and like the military dudes, you constantly needed them to co-sign all your shit all the time. And I empathize with that, but that's not who I was. I was not that way in life. The way that I felt about craft and life in general was, I don't give a fuck what you think, you know? I don't care what you think about me. I had come from an environment with very little cheerleading going on. And so I created a sort of survival instinct.
Right.
Where I would cut people out, you know, and minimize opinions. And the way that I would do that is I had to believe that my opinion was greater than everybody else's opinion around me. I remember talking shit to Spielberg. I mean, there was no director who ever directed me, you know, and I used to be proud of that. This is what I mean, like the things that I looked up to and romanticized was I came up on a certain kind of music, a certain kind of culture, boss shit. You know, the guys I looked up to were not asking you what you thought. I thought there was something sexy and punk rock about like these islands, these men who were islands.
Untouchable.
Yeah.
Is that possible? Is it possible to be that?
It's nonsense.
Yeah.
It's just not real. It's fiction. It's not a real thing.
It's a blanket, right? I mean, it's armor.
I listen to Mickey Rourke interviews and I think, damn, bro, it's a sad boy. You scared man. You're so fucking scared, you know? And there's a lot of this tough guy armor shit, and I get it, you know? And I love Mickey Rourke, you know? He gives me hope. When you see a dude go for 12 years no craft and then come out and do the wrestler,
yeah.
a guy like me who's in my position looks up to shit like that. It gives me hope. It makes me feel inspired. Like, all right, if I'm patient for 12 years, maybe one day. Guys like me in my position need stories like that. And simultaneously, I listen to his interviews and I go, there's no evolution here. You're still shitting on Tom Cruise, bro. Like, why?
Right.
And it's insecurity, you know? And I was that way. I was so competitive. My acting wasn't collaborative. It was competitive. It was a sport. And my life was this way. And this is what created the insecurity and the jealousy that put hands on this woman. The man that was involved in that relationship was constantly comparing himself to other people. And I was a dishonest person in that I was wearing this mask. You know, I've gotten cold sores my whole life. Got them from my mother. I get 2 cold sores a year when I'm stressed out or I'm sick. I never told any of my sexual partners about getting cold sores. Never. And that's something, when you talk about like, how do you talk to these people who you done fucked over? Like, there's certain shit you can't clean up.
Yeah.
You know, you can't make amends for permanent damage like that, you know? And so my daughter now has become this opportunity for me, you know? And every woman in my purview has become an opportunity for me to be like a stand-up dude.
Yeah.
How are you finding the time to send over all these meeting notes?
I got a secret. I've been using granola.
What is granola?
So it's an AI.
I used to open doors for women. I used to, you know, I was a good dude that way, but it was almost performative. It was almost like, I'll do this good thing so you can think I'm a good dude. But like in my own private life, when the doors were closed, I never told any woman I had cold sores, you know? And so that's deplorable behavior, you know? When a woman would like me, it felt like so fucking foreign that I didn't want to fuck it up. And I always thought that a woman being into me was tied to this business. So like, I think about why the business and the industry was so important for me, and it really has almost very little to do with the craft itself and the spiritual nature of what the craft can be. For a great swath of time, it had to do with, this is how I define myself. This is where I build my ego so that I can go in and pursue these things that will, these feelings that will absolve me from the very real feeling that is continual loneliness and the feeling of being not enough and the feeling of constantly comparing yourself to other people. And what that does in a relationship is it makes you controlling and fearful and manipulative. To not tell somebody you get cold sores twice a year is a heinous manipulation, you know? But I never came up with a dude who was like, hey, this is how you navigate that situation. Right. Nobody hit me the game like, hey, bro, you know, if you're really in love, you can have open conversations about uncomfortable shit and really get to like another kind of connection you don't even know about.
Or if somebody was trying to tell you weren't in a place to receive it anyways. I mean, maybe somebody tried.
I wasn't.
You know? And I get, look, you said, whether it was through, you know, drinking or whatever the fuck it was, that you hurt people that are close to you.
Yeah.
That really resonated with me, man. And I'm just wondering.
I mean, people who put their whole shit on the line to like bring me back from the fire. You know, Alma Harrell is a great example of a person who, she took a gamble on me. You know, I was in rehab when we started having a conversation. I got arrested in Georgia for fighting with a cop, wound up in rehab, and didn't hear a damn thing about God, spirituality, personal growth, accountability. My whole, as soon as I got to rehab, was let me get back to this hustle. So I started writing a script in rehab. That's how fucking mad I was. I wasn't listening to no therapy. I had been therapized my whole life that it felt like, you want me to focus on the problem? Well, how am I gonna hack this focusing on the problem thing? And how am I gonna find my way back to this fucking hustle so I can get back to my ego? Because really all I cared about was my ego. I didn't give a fuck about getting well. You know, it was all about get well for you. Get well for the camera. Get well. And so, you know, Honey Boy was born in this kind of toxic milieu of false recovery masked as some kind of like upliftive product, and she was in on it because she thought that it was, I mean, I don't know what her motivations were, but it felt like she was doing kind of what you're doing here. When the conversation first started with Alma, it was like, man, we got to get to the root of what the fuck is going on here. You know, something wrong with you. You know, let's get well.
It was out of love. It was out of love. Like, y'all fucked with each other. You made stuff together. I love you. What can we do?
It wasn't let's build a product. It wasn't fetishizing product when we first. It wasn't like I was in an environment where she's like,
Academy Award.
Yeah, let me go hit you up for a script idea. It wasn't that. She hit me up like, hey, I'm in the same. I'm living a principled life also. Maybe you should get involved in this thing. And immediately I was on as a matter of fact, here's a fucking 60-page monologue I wrote about my dad while I was doing this fourth step, And right away, it was almost like I manipulated her into directing this movie. And then that put me in a situation where I was even sicker. Because then self-will is run riot in full. Because now I'm at Sundance. We just done one Sundance. And I'm like thinking that I can that I'm the ultimate manipulative master. And I was telling other people who would come to me after seeing that movie, asking me about how to help, and I would tell them, well, you just got to paint with your pain, you know, and all this fucking nonsense. It just wasn't. I had no spiritual life, none.
The fact that your spiritual life at that point was bankrupt, and the fact that came out of a transactional, less than weak part of you, if that's what you're saying here.
Yeah.
Is it still possible that through the art that you made, that it inspired people or helped people? It still could have.
Oh, I know it has.
Fair enough. Okay.
And I don't think, and I don't want to get too spiritual, too much God talk in here, because I know that it landed like on deaf ears when I wasn't ready. But
yep.
God uses people in many ways, and I've interacted with people, and Alma has interacted with people who that movie has had a hand in helping them find their way back to the route, you know, and that's very fulfilling.
Yep.
So I can't deny that craft and art is a huge instigator in people. You know, when you think about Catholicism in full, you know, beauty is a huge part of the religion.
That's right.
Art has a huge hand
Music,
in
painting,
evangelizing people
absolutely.
and bringing them to God. And
Absolutely.
so,
but there's also been some real toxicity and some morally bankrupt things that use that art in order to draw people in for own personal gain and for weak parts of those people.
which is where I was.
And I think, man, you know, when I think about you, you have this ability to inspire and to galvanize and ignite people. You can make people feel enormously strong and powerful and joyous. I've also seen you humiliate people.
Yeah.
I've seen you completely destroy the joy in an environment.
Yeah.
You know, and that's and I think these things, they're cousins, man. Like, you cannot have one without the other, and it is a constant. I think it is a constant work. It is a constant mission. If you're going to try to walk the path where you're trying to live for positivity, you're trying to bring people up, because that doesn't go away. That shit will never ever go away.
For sure.
It's constant work.
Yeah.
And
I'm 52 years old. Last month, I caught my wife crying in the bathroom because I couldn't get hard in bed. She wouldn't even look at me anymore. We're basically roommates. So I tried everything.
the thing that I was tripping out on is you saying how you hurt people close to you. That's also, I we've talked about it. I definitely understand what it's like to hurt people. I've hurt people. I've hurt people in ways I'm disgusted with myself for what I've done.
Yeah.
I haven't hurt people that are close to me. I can't imagine what that's like. And I want to know, first, I guess I want to know, how does that feel? Do you know that you're doing that while you're doing it? And what is the realization? Like, what does that feel like to know you've done that or to know you're doing that?
Yeah, I mean, so there's two perspectives on it. There's where I am now and who I was then.
Yeah.
And I've had to do a lot of inventory on what was motivating this perspective.
Yep.
I come from and this isn't a boohoo shit either, but I know abandonment. Mm-hmm. I know deuces. And I would test relationships, and as a way of finding a barometer. I'd also I would hurt people just out of straight selfishness. No, there's no intellectual facet to it. Just the fact that, the fact that I cheated on every woman I'd ever been with. The fact that directors who put me on, who took me from nothing and put me on, I eviscerated in public life. Even on set, when I would sense weakness in another person on the other side of a scene, I would lean in. I wouldn't try to uplift nobody. I would try to lean in. And it was this constant trying to define myself in the world. It has to do with not feeling enough. All of this comes from fear. Mm-hmm. Just when I didn't understand masculinity in full. What I know masculinity to be now is stability. Mm-hmm. You can't really have stability if you're running shit. Because if you're just a dude, you know how infinitesimally fucking small we don't even know how deep Lake Michigan is.
Right.
What are you really running? Right. You're running nothing.
Right.
And so this idea that if you're bossing your life, you're always going to be in a tremendous amount of fear. Mm-hmm. And that
in
fear,
denial, right? In denial, it's just not real.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah,
you have to deny anybody else's God. You have to deny God in full, and you have to, you fall into this Sam Harris, Christopher Hitchens hole, where you're trying to intellectualize everything and rationalize everything.
You're fragile, dude. We're all fragile.
But then you get caught up with like, you know, I hung out with like philosophers and shit. You know, I would backstop all my shit with like these philosophies, like fucking words. You know, play these word spells on people, and was using like performance art to like create this. You know, running word spells, you know, just a bunch of fucking nonsense, really. At the end of the day, that all had to do with with the same thing that hurt people. It was all about, my propulsion system was fucked. My motivations behind the way I was living my life was wrong. You know, I had to get a new propulsion system. I wasn't looking at life like, how can I be useful to other people? I wasn't looking to be of service to nobody, even including a director. I listen to Ethan Hawke sometimes, you know, do interviews about how he looks at the craft, and he's always talking about like, my job is just to be in service of the director, and that's like foreign to me. You know, I remember being in service to a director and getting fucked over. I remember doing movies with certain dudes who like led me down a weird path, and looking back at the project thinking like, nah, man, I was right all along. You were wrong, and then I stopped listening to any kind of director, you know, and that innocent dude who came into the industry with all this wild, wide-eyed wonderment, that disappeared pretty quick. And then it became like, I got around some dudes who I saw work a very specific way, and I thought the answer to this having to rely on the infallible man that is the director is you just don't listen to the director and you just do your own shit, because trust your instincts, buddy, because you're God. I remember calling my manager and saying like, what do you mean? I'm God. You know, this is really where I was at, because I thought my craft was God. I thought love, art, and God all meant the same thing to me.
And to somebody who's because I understand you're looking at it from two different perspectives. It's where you're at now and where you were going through it. So for somebody who may be going through that right now, or for somebody who, you know, maybe is close to somebody who is going through that, were there ever times of empathy? Were there ever times of realization? Were there ever times of shame when you're like, fuck, I just hurt that person? What would you say to that dude?
I'll tell you like this. I remember being in Georgia when I was doing this movie with this kid, Zach. You were there for part of it.
Yeah.
And I remember getting arrested.
Yeah.
And I remember getting out of jail the next day, and I remember sitting down with Zach, and there were moments of like lucid articulation from this man. And this happened to be one of them. And he said, you know, this is my one shot. You make movies all the time, but this is my one shot. And you're ruining it for me. And to say that you don't feel that when it lands is not true. I felt it deeply. But it's what you do with that feeling. You know, do you change? And I didn't. You know, I would always I always had an inch left. I always had some fucking wiggle room. Every time I would fuck up, there was always some wiggle. There was always a Brad Pitt on the phone. There was always some like, you know, Sundance award.
Some next project.
There was always Alma. There was always there was always wiggle room to get back into ego. And this time, there wasn't no wiggle room. That's why I attribute this woman with saving my life, because she destroyed any route towards that wiggle.
That's real.
It is real.
Rock fucking bottom.
Rock bottom. Bottom isn't when you experience the worst moment of your life.
Definitely
Bottom
not.
is when you change.
That's right. It's when you actually, it's when you touch it, when you smell it, when it's right on your face,
Yeah,
and you feel it.
and
It's not about severity of what the thing is.
It's about what you do with it once it happens. So like, once it happened, I mean, when it landed, I forgot how to breathe. You know, because the subtext of the email was, your hustle's over. You know. And I forgot how to breathe. And the next thing I did after 2 minutes of sitting there, staring at a computer screen, was I went and loaded up a gun and sat at my table and was gonna kill myself. I was out of here. I didn't know what to do anymore. Like, all my ideas had failed. And I sat there for 2 minutes thinking, where's the wiggle room? I'd already used
What's my play?
Yeah, what's the play? And there were no options. It was like, there was nowhere to go. It's not like I could go outside and get a Choco Taco and chill on the, you know, people driving down the street, rolling down the window like, fuck off and die, you know? This is where I was in the early days of this shit. So I didn't even want to leave my house. And I had a woman living in my house who wasn't my wife. And I was on my way to go do some movie I didn't give a fuck about, you know, just like momentum building kind of shit, you know? Movies, no intrinsic value, just like, I need something on the cards, you know, for this year. I need my 2 or 3 projects, one of these things. And,
Whoa. What's that? I just built a budgeting app in Base 44.
Guys, Nina just built an app.
Impossible.
Nina can't code.
Interesting. Can it generate reports?
I can now.
So you're saying we can all build apps now?
Yeah.
I'm on lunch.
I gotta make a call.
I'll be in my office.
Just built an inventory tracker.
Protein calculator.
Book sharing app.
A workflow manager that
Tracks who still owes for the group lunch.
Trash duty schedule.
Since no one seems to care.
just built a
I just created a goal tracking system.
We built the same thing, didn't we?
Yep.
Can this thing manage contact?
Is the SOC 2 compliant?
I want to animate this graph.
Create a party planner.
Profesor de español.
An inter-office dating app.
For dogs. For office dogs. You know what I mean?
Running an online brand? Yeah, it's a lot. Getting your domain on Wix Domains? Easy. Type it. Find it. Own it. Whatever you're creating, there's a domain for that. Put your name on it. Go to Wix Domains.
And I felt disconnected from all of it. And I wound up getting emails from certain dudes who, like you, were still involved in my life, even when it got ugly, you know, when it got chunky. One of those dudes was Sean Penn. And Sean's like, you need to call Brolin. And I called Brolin, and he told me he was going to this meeting online. Now, the gun is loaded. Like, I haven't left my sitting position, you know? And I wound up signing on to this meeting, and I heard one of the dudes who was speaking that night say, if you're new and you just entered, you know, you don't have everything you want right now, but you got everything you need right now.
Wow.
Now. And he did that for like 2 minutes. And the first minute I'm thinking, you can't spend the whole rest of your share just snapping your fingers and saying now. Like, this shit is ludicrous. And I went into this judgment, which is what my alcoholism sounds like. It sounds like criticality. It sounds like judgment. And so I'm in my judgment, like, you better say, and a gun is right here. I'm like, you better say something that's really gonna get me the fuck out of where I'm at. And after 2 minutes, like, I felt like a giggle start to rise inside of me, and I felt something like presence. I stopped thinking about the email, stopped thinking about my hustle. The gun almost disappeared, and it was like I'm sitting here on this Skype call, and I'm present for the first time in my life. And I wound up writing the dude in the chat box, like, hey, bro, you know, I'm on the verge, you know, I'm about to kill myself. He's like, oh, okay, cool, call me tomorrow. Just like throwaway, you know, and I needed that. I had been enabled for so long in my life that if it was gonna be me walking into this program and having a bunch of dudes pat me on the back like, hey man, welcome home. We're glad you're here. I'd have been out again, because then it would have been more wiggle room. But the guy that I wound up running into was not having it. And he said, hey man, meet me on the beach tomorrow. And I wound up here at Tower 10, and he said, I need you to get on your knees. And I'm like, I'm not getting on my knees. He's like, cool, deuces. He started walking away. I'm thinking, oh, fuck. But it also reified this, like, you don't care. Like, you care, but not in that way. You know, you're not going to pat me on my back. And I said, okay. I was so willing at this point because I was in so much fucking pain. And he said, get on your knees. And I get on my knees. He gets on his knees with me. So right away, it's no longer like this power play. We're like collaborating in this. And he says, I need you to stop the waves. And I'm like, man, listen, this Dr. Quinn medicine woman version of this shit ain't gonna work with me. You know, like, I get how this goes. He's like, you're either gonna write what happens, or you're gonna do a bunch of shit that you don't believe in so that your life changes. Because your issue is that you